guys, welcome back to The Only Way is Beastly. Today we are going to be doing a quick review on the 2019 Hyundai Tucson. This is the Hyundai Tucson 1.6 GDI, which is gasoline direct injection SE nav. It is the next step up from the base model S Connect. Alright there guys, as everybody knows, Hyundai does pride themselves on having a big luggage load area, and this time they have excelled themselves in doing so. Obviously, as you get into the boot, they do have the retractable load cover, which has also got another clever feature where it's actually multiple positionable inside here, as it can actually sit in two positions like that, one further to the rear, one further forward, which I'll show you further on in the video. But we'll just bring that back. There's a lot of load space. They also has the liftable floor. In some of the models they do have the polystyrene tray with different compartments, but this one does have the spare wheel, so you lose the tray, which in my personal preference I prefer the spare wheel. There's a few little bits and bobs, your usual toolkit, and one thing that I think is quite good of them, Hyundai actually give in all their cars, well in all their Tucsons, a cargo net which attaches into the points in the rear to hold all of your items secure when travelling. One of the clever little features that I've come to like on the Tucson is the fact that you have automatic power folding mirrors when you unlock the car. The lights are also automatic, and it also has LED lights, you can just follow me. It has the LED side lights and also has LED daytime running lights. So guys, let's just dive into the back to look at some of the other little features that Hyundai have packed into the Tucson this time round. Obviously everyone's getting pretty much used to seeing a USB charger port, aircon vents in the back and electric windows all round. One of the clever little features that I like about the Tucson is to fold the rear seats. There's no more climbing and lumbering into the boot to get to the little catch to fold it. It is just down the side here, you pull it and down the seat goes flat. And another little clever thing is I'll just hop in to demonstrate this one. The seats in the rear are actually multi-positionable. And there's enough room for the larger gentleman.
Yep.
The seats, you pull the lever and they actually do recline back, and that is the reason why the parcel shelf / load cover is multi-positionable. So you can have the seats in a laid back or an upright position, so even all of the people that sit in the back will be able to adjust to their comfort. Right guys, we've jumped inside now, and just to go over a little bit of the technology that they've packed into the SE nav this time round for 2019. As you can see, the dashboard has changed completely, and it has this nice floating type head unit, which is your centre control for pretty much everything, sat nav, your phone, your radio, pretty much everything. If I just turn it on, there's just a little bit of rubbish radio there. The sat nav is absolutely brilliant. It's all touchscreen. It is the larger 8-inch screen over the S Connect, which I believe only has a 7-inch. And as all the ladies know, that inch makes a difference. From here, you have your sat nav, which is all touchscreen. You have your radio and your media center, which at the moment is connected to my iPhone. From there, you also have all the things that you need: the radio, the quick guide, the information. You can actually connect it to the Wi-Fi on your phone and get live traffic updates also. There's also Android CarPlay and Apple CarPlay, which connect to the phones when plugged in through the USB, which is down here. It has USB and AUX from factory. It also has two, which is rare. I don't see many cars, especially in the range of the Hyundai. It's got two cigarette ports up at the front for obviously your sat nav, your phones, etc, etc. As already said, it's got the power supply in the back, which is USB. Adjustable leather coated armrest in the centre, which lifts up to a cubby box. On the SE Nav, you actually get a leather-coated steering wheel and gear stick. Then, obviously, pretty much standard on most of the Hyundais now, all electronic digital heaters. You can sync them auto, separate climate control, so you can have it cold one side of the car, hot the other. Another little feature, which a little bit of a grey area, it took a little bit of testing to find out, and I actually can now confirm the glove box is actually a chiller box. And the good thing about it is, even when the heaters are on hot, the glove box still blows nice and cool, so it can keep all your goodies and your chocolates and everything in there nice and cool. Over onto the steering wheel, we have the voice command for when you connect it to Apple CarPlay in my instance, the shuffle button for when playing music, the volume up and down, the select up and down, and the answer and hang up of the phone when using the phone in Bluetooth mode. On this side, we have our cruise control and restrictor, which work very, very well. And then here, there is the menu button. If you can see in the centre of the dash, there is a compass option. It's got lane departure assist, which when you get close to the white line, it will beep. Driver attention level, which will actually make sure you're alert, reminds you to take breaks, which is very good for long drives. And it also has tyre pressure monitoring. Now, it's mostly high-end cars that I've noticed these days that have this, so it's very, very good for Hyundai to put them into the Tucson. And unless you had badge envy, or you're a little bit of a name whore, the Hyundai is very, very, very good. There is also, on this menu as well, yeah, I'll just show you that one. That's the one where you can set everything up about the doors, the lights, if the headlights come on when you lock the car, etc, etc. And then here you can also have a digital speedo, your average miles per gallon. I have done around about 70 miles today, and I've averaged 40 miles to the gallon. On the motorway, the way I drive, if I'm not using cruise control, I average around about 43. If I use cruise control, I get 47. But obviously, depending on your driving, it varies. And around town, I get about 29 miles to the gallon. There is also the accumulated data. So far, I've done 384 miles. Because that's a mixture between highway and town, it's at 31.6. And there you go, the current drive of this one is 71.1 miles. 50 miles of that was the motorway. The rest, so it's accumulated it and averaged it at 38.4 miles to the gallon. A couple of more little gadgets are the steering mode. You can put it between sport and normal. Normal is super light, you can do it with one finger, and that's brilliant for around town and parking. Sport mode, it does stiffen it up where to the point where you actually need a hand on the wheel to turn it. Brilliant for motorway work, especially stops you from drifting between the lanes, and also the lane depart assist helps with that as well. It has the stop-start engine technology, so when you pull up at a set of lights, put it into neutral, it will turn the engine off. It has the parking beepers for obviously backup parking. Some of the safety features that they've packed in is you've got your usual driver passenger airbag. There's also airbags in the seat. Another one that they've also got the driver alert and lane keep assist. So if you get close to the white line, it will bleep. And one thing that I learned that I didn't know it had, and I learned very surprisingly, is it also has anti-collision warnings. So say if you're driving down the road and somebody walks out into the road, the car will sense that up and it will bleep and flash warning lights at you to tell you that you're about to be in a collision unless you do something about it, which I personally didn't know anything about, and it scared the living lights out of me, but it did avoid me from knocking over an old lady. So the system clearly works, but you should never rely on them. Keep alert when driving. And also with the SE Nav, as well as having the reversing beepers, it also has a full reversing camera. But it's not just any, it's if you turn the wheel, it turns to tell you where the car is going to be going. There we go. And as said before, there's also the power fold mirrors that will fold automatically, but you do also have the control here to fold them in if you're going through narrow spaces, and you can fold them back out. Electric windows all round. The front two are auto, so it's one touch and they go all the way down, one touch and they go all the way up again. The rear windows are the good old-fashioned, you hold it in to go down, and then there is also the rear window cut off, so if you have children in the back, they can't play with the windows all day. The seats are height adjustable in the front. Both seats are height adjustable on a ratchet mechanism down at the side. You lift it up to go up, you push it down to go down. There is also on the side of the seat a little button that is hidden. It's hard to see, hence why we're not videoing, but you'll be able to see it, as it has got electronically controlled lumbar support in the base of the seat. If you could hear the motor there, it is very, very quiet. One of the other things I can't express enough is we are actually sat in the Hyundai Tucson now with the engine running. It is very quiet, and we'll do a quick, short road journey. Another little feature it has is when you're slow moving, as you're turning, the fog lights do come on for when you're turning, and it will illuminate around the corner. Unfortunately, it's not quite dark enough to have the full effect yet.
Bonus points if you can guess where we're driving.
Yes, drop a thumbs up and a like if you can guess where we are. It does have, this is the 1.6 gasoline direct injection engine with the 6-speed manual gearbox. It does have the eco assist for telling you when to change gear, so the engine does it the most economical of its capabilities. As you can see, it's very, very, very smooth, even on these pothole-ridden roads.
It's a good job. It may be making me bounce up and down, but you can't really tell much. Unless you're watching the video, and then in that case I do apologise. But without a fixed camera gimbal, and something I know he wouldn't be pleased if I drilled into his roof.
No, definitely not.
Where we actually are, I remember my driving instructor telling to me, God, it's got to be 11 years ago now, he says if you can learn to drive in this city, you can drive anywhere in the world. Mostly
Which is
because
very true.
There's so many bad drivers here.
There's a lot of people give London, Birmingham and Nottinghamshire a bad reputation for drivers. I have driven in all of those, and nobody is as ignorant on the roads as they are in this city.
Yep.
What I will do is I'll just quickly put it into as to turn on cruise control, as if you would pan the camera over. You press the cruise control on, you click it down to set, and then you can adjust it with the up and down. When you tap the brake, it will turn it off. You click reset, it'll go back, and you can also accelerate, and then when you ease off, the car will slow down and go back to the previous set cruise control speed. There you go, guys. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas.
And keep it beastly.